Momente. Wer macht das? Pascal Ackermann auf den Weg. Schafft er das?
Hello friends and welcome back to another video. Today is a really exciting day because today is a day all about cycling. So it's the 1st of May and the 1st of May in Germany is probably one of the biggest days when it comes to cycling because we have a massive race going on here in Frankfurt, basically right where I come from and right where I live. And today I get the chance to sit in one of the press cars and take a look at that. It's gonna be really exciting. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that. But first let's go to the start. Okay, and so right now we're going to the start area and the race of the pros starts in about 2 hours and this is like an international race, so this is a really big day for everyone who loves cycling. So and as you can probably tell, I'm super hyped about this, and the main reason for that is that the race really goes right in front of my home door. And when I was trying to become a professional cyclist like years ago, I was taking part in the junior and the under 23 versions of this race, and it was really always my big goal that one day to make it at that lowest pro level so that I could be one of the people competing in the actual big pro race. Unfortunately I didn't really make it, but today I get to see behind the scenes and we're gonna go on the racetrack and then see it from that perspective. That's still cool enough, isn't it? And since probably most of you have never really seen a bike race from that perspective, that's exactly why I'm gonna take you with me today and show you exactly how that looks like. Because as you can tell, I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be really cool. And right now we're in the area where all the pro teams are setting up shop right before the race.
So here are the team buses and the mechanics are setting up the bikes.
And I guess most of the pros are actually coming from the hotels right somewhere in Frankfurt. And then back there, it's gonna be a team presentation in about 20 minutes. Right now, we are directly next to the start line from the under 23 race. And that exact race I've been taking part in exactly 7 years ago. And now we're heading over to the presentation of the teams. This is like where the pros come before the race and they wave and say hi to everybody for everybody to make photos from.
Begrüßen wir mit der 121 André Greipel. Das Team Dimension Data.
And so basically everyone was waiting for the currently most known German riders to cheer for, and this guy here is one of them. If you have no idea about cycling, his name is Niels Pollitt, and he recently got second in probably the biggest race of the entire cycling year called Paris-Roubaix, which blew everyone's mind. So of course everyone hoped to see him in front today. But also certainly nobody would complain if this guy would make it, the German road cycling champion.
Pascal Ackermann.
Or the third German favorite, who won the race in 2011 and lives right around the corner from here.
Degenkolb.
And they all set out to beat this man here, who won the race the last 4 years in a row, Alexander Kristoff from Norway. And with that, it was time for the race to start.
Okay, so now the team presentation is over and we just jumped into the car. So we can go on the track except from like the normal traffic. But now it's pretty much the problem that we need to be at the interesting spots before the races come through there. And especially the under 23 race has started way earlier. So we need to be in a very big of a rush so that we make it to that spot. Okay, so unfortunately we didn't make it before the under 23 race. So right now we're behind the race of the under 23-year-old riders. And that back there, if you're a rider in the race, that's the car that you don't want to see, because that's the bus where all the dropped riders have to jump in. So and as you've probably never seen a bike race before, on TV we only see the riders. But what happens after that is like 20-25 team cars that have the material if you have a flat tire or if your bike is broken. And then after that, commissaires and the emergency.
And this, by the way, is Franzi. She's an up-and-coming sports photographer and takes the pictures for the team that I'm cycling for this year. You should check her out on Instagram to see some of the pictures she took at the race actually. And our driver for today, that's my teammate Marco. When we ourselves are racing, that looks a little like this, but I'll probably show you that in some future video.
We have a race driver. And funny enough, we have a live stream from the pro race right on the phone. He's driving like a maniac, but that's what you have to do to get to the best spots. So right now we're going through my hometown actually, because that's right before where the most important mountain of the race is. And if we're lucky, we'll make it in time so that we see the under 23 race right on that mountain. But then afterwards we're gonna watch the pros. So the town we just passed through, that's my hometown, and that's where you saw the view from Frankfurt. That's basically the view I saw every single day, with the skyline in the distance. And now we're going to the steepest mountain of the entire race. And it's one of those mountains that if you are a non-cyclist person, you would say, oh my god, I'm never gonna go up there. No way. That's how steep it's gonna be.
Memories, lying men. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. Time to judge and jury.
So this is the coolest and most exciting spot of the entire race. Later when the pro is gonna come, here's gonna be absolute madness. This is really cool, you got to see this. And if you're actually one of the people in the race, it's even more crazy than just watching.
You better check for.
Okay, so right now it's a little bit of a waiting moment. We're watching the race of the pros, waiting until they pass here for the first time. Probably gonna take like 20 minutes more and then it's back into the car. So if you've never watched a bike race before, usually it works a little bit something like this. There are 200 people are starting, and then in the very beginning usually there's a group of riders that tries to get away from the big bunch of riders. And that's exactly what's happening right now. There's about 6 or 7 riders who are ahead of the main group and they're trying to escape. And the reason why they do that is usually so that they are shown on TV, so that they're on camera, and so that they give their sponsors a lot of exposure so that they can present their team. And they try and get away as much as possible so that they potentially could win the race in the very end. But most often they don't really stand the chance, because later in the race the teams that want to win the sprint, and today's probably going to be a sprint finish, the teams that want to win the sprint in the very end of the race, they will then start and chase back those riders that escaped in the very beginning of the race. And that in the end can happen very quickly, because the riders that are escaping now, they have to put in a lot of energy so that they can stay ahead. Because if you're only 5 or 6 riders, it's a lot harder to go fast than if you're the big bunch. The big bunch can go much faster. When a lot of riders are riding behind each other, then you don't need to pedal so hard, because the people in front of you give you a slipstream. And so if you stay in the big bunch, you can save a lot of energy, and the guys who are all the way in the front, they have to put out a lot of energy. So right now the 6 guys that are all the way ahead, they are riding through one of the last towns right before here and should come up this mountain in like 10 to 15 minutes. So we need to get ready for some more filming.
All the bad things love can bring, all in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt from your face, dry your eyes, and I'll play the end. Ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass.
So that is definitely the best spot to look the race at, and it's crazy how many people are actually coming there. So this was the first time that they went up that mountain, and they have to do that 4 times, so they're doing a bigger loop now, and that gives us a chance to go to another spot to take some more pictures and video. By the way, the riders are about 2 hours into the race. That's about 80 kilometers, and they have 100 more to go.
Better check for pose.
And I guess you can tell by now, but the reason that I'm really excited about this race is that it's going exactly on the roads that I used to train every single day on.
Well, the 7 leaders were almost 4 minutes clear heading up the first climb. The peloton, though, were keeping them on a tight leash. Tuchel Alpecin working hard at the front as the gap briefly came down to under 2 minutes.
Okay, now the entire group is coming through.
Head up high, come on, wave your flag. We're all in there.
So current status in the race, the group of escapers that were out in the very front, only 2 of them are left, and then right behind that comes the main bunch, and there are still a lot of the very known sprinters in there. Currently it looks very good. There's like 3 German guys that everybody's cheering for: John Degenkolb, Pascal Ackermann and Niels Pollitt, that everybody here is hoping that either one of those has a chance today to win it or get on the podium. Now the last 2 times it goes up that very steep mountain, and then afterwards it goes back into Frankfurt. So we're going there one more time and then right into Frankfurt to see the finish. And so as we're just watching it on the live stream, seems like one of the German favorite guys has just started an attack. So we're cheering for him from in the car, that he's gonna get away and make it through. Vielleicht lassen uns gerade noch drauf.
You will hurt the ones who love you, and they will hurt you right back. So sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. Better check for her.
little update. The pros just now have to go up that mountain for the very last time, but because we wouldn't make it into Frankfurt if we go after them, we're already going into the city right now so that we can watch the finish in the city. The German favorites are still in the first group, so it looks really, really good for a German victory today.
The gap dropping all the time as Frankfurt came back into view. 5 men left at the front.
So now it goes to the real final of the race day. We're in the middle of the city, we just found a parking, and now we're going to the finish line. They're gonna pass by there and I think make 3 or 4 small laps, and then it's gonna be a final sprint of a real big group, and fingers crossed that it's gonna be a German guy who's gonna win it today. So absolutely crazy, the amount of people that are already here at the start. I'm like 50 meters before the finish line and they're about to come here the first time. So super interesting race situation right now. There's a group in front that has like 10 or 12 seconds advantage. There's 5 or 6 people. That's the group. And they have about 8 kilometers more to go. So that's maybe 12 minutes of racing. So everybody's really tense and hopes that they're gonna get caught back and we get a German race victory today. So about 5 more minutes. They haven't caught the group yet. So it's gonna be a really, really, really close call. Everybody's super tense. They have 2 more corners to go and then 1 long straight, and then it's gonna be a super fast sprint finish. Fingers crossed for the German guys.
Florian were in control and teeing up the bunch sprint, and in the end it was their man Ackermann who got there first to take the win ahead of Degenkolb and
So that could not have ended any better. 2 German guys in the very front and the German champion won the race. That's what everybody's been hoping for and super excited about. That was the absolute best possible outcome that could have happened from this race today. Unfortunately, I didn't see so much because I was standing pretty far back. Now we're just gonna head to the team buses and see maybe we can get 1 or 2 interviews or so. But I guess it's enough for today. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of an adventure video today, and hopefully it wasn't the last bike race that I get to film.